Talk is brought to you by CFU, the power of service.
Welcome back to Panther Sports Talk. We're talking about 2 quality wins for the Panthers. They've won 8 out of their last 9, 5 straight. And Coach, it seems like different guys are stepping up in key situations. In that win against Evansville, you had a true freshman in Pock and a true sophomore in Campbell that hit big 3-pointers when the game was hanging in the balance there.
Yeah, they were back-to-back, I think. Yeah. And yeah, huge shots. Trey had some really good looks in the first half. Evansville, they were set to double the post. Right away you could see that guy sitting on it waiting for us to spin baseline. Ty did a great job. Other guys getting it out of there, and we were open on the 3-point line. Right, we happened not to make some wide open threes in that first half that could have maybe got us out to a 10 or 12-point lead. But it didn't slow Trey down. And Kyle, obviously, that's later in the game, for KP. And the reason guys are able to do that is because they put in a lot of time. Like you put in a lot of time, you're in that kind of confidence, and you either believe you're going to make it or you don't. And both of those guys have put in a ton of time. So those are great shots for our team. It doesn't change anything about the situation. Like, it's later game, the game's close. Like, you still gotta step forward and make it. But they believe in their preparation, and that it's great to see when it comes through for guys.
As a true freshman, Trey started every game, and I know you put together a plan for him in the off season to have an even better sophomore year, and talk about his buy-in to wanting to improve and mentally, physically, everything.
Yeah, and a lot of it surrounded, from a physical standpoint, the weight room, getting stronger, working on his ball handling. That was something we spent a lot of time on. And he's put the work in, right? But in terms of putting a plan together with him, those 2 things, and then a lot of time shooting the basketball. Just spending time in the weight room, spending time in the gym, working on that ball handling, and he's obviously done a great job of it.
He's nearly a 50% 3-point shooter, and how does his cool, calm demeanor help on the court in relatively high-pressure situations?
Yeah, I think that's a tremendous attribute to have. He has made more big shots. They weren't at Belmont. They had just gone ahead by 4, I think, and he made one to cut it to 1. At Murray, they went up 7. We came down, boom, boom, boom. He makes it to cut it to 4, like the one he made tonight, right? That one gets a little more attention because it's so late in the game. But on the road at Murray and on the road at Belmont, like, you need that thing to stay as close as you can until you pick up a little steam. And I think that's where that demeanor you're talking about. Like, he's got a ton of confidence in what he's doing. He's put in a ton of work. Really proud of him.
Here's that story on Trey Campbell.